what to do if your partner does not go to therapy and you want them to go to therapy. You want them to do couples counseling or couples therapy, what to do about that. My name is Michelle Pava. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and I can help you through this. So here is a reality. In almost every couple, there's one person that really wants to go to therapy and another that doesn't really want to go. They might agree to go. They might say, yeah, that's a good idea, but they're not as into it as one part of the couple. So I'm going to assume right now, if you're watching, that you're the one that wants to go to therapy or couples counseling and the other person does not, okay? So number one, don't let that deter you from going to therapy, because a lot of times in couples therapy, you really only need one person to make changes and the other person is forced to make some changes. So you don't actually both need to be there. Now, is it better if both people want to have therapy and want to get to that next level of their relationship or heal from something that's been really detrimental to them? Absolutely. But I don't want you to feel like, and most people don't know this, that you need to have both people in therapy for you to benefit from therapy as a couple. So a very big example is that I had one woman who really wanted her husband to go to therapy and he did not want to go. So she came to therapy. Now, what happened was, not only did she come to therapy, but I gave her different strategies that she can use based upon her perception of what was happening in the relationship. And she was able to take those strategies home and, really start to initiate some different strategies and solutions. And that would in turn create a different response from her husband. When that started happening, now sometimes there were not great responses, sometimes there were fantastic responses, but it's really, testing out the waters because I don't know the other person. So it was great because she was able to come into therapy and say, you know what, he's not really talking to me a whole lot. This is an example. He wasn't talking to her a whole lot. She felt ignored. And then I gave her a couple of strategies to help her to get the attention she wanted from him without looking like what she called a nag or desperate or pathetic. So she was able to do that, and he was able to, without realizing it, he was then able to switch his thinking and see her for who she was then and not ignore her. So I don't want you to think that just because your spouse or your partner is not going to therapy, that it's doomed, that the relationship is doomed. So many times it can be just one person that goes to therapy. Now, again, it's always best if both people want to go to therapy. Sometimes somebody comes to therapy for 6 weeks or 12 weeks or even longer, and then their partner finally starts to come to therapy. Sometimes I never even have seen the other person, or a lot of my friends who are actual couple counselors have never even seen the other partner. They only see one partner in the couple, and they are able to make headway with that because it only takes that one person to start to make changes. And it's really good for the person who wants to go to therapy and does feel like they need to talk to someone and that there is an overwhelm in the relationship, and there often is an overwhelm in the relationship. It's good because that person now has a trusted confidant who will give them feedback and guidance based upon not only knowing them and the rapport, but years of therapy, research, science, and everything else. They have someone who is not biased and will really help them. So if you feel like you want to go to couples therapy and your partner does not, still go.